everybody, Speed Force Spector here. Not used to doing these type of intros, but hi, it's me, about to do a Flash video. And here's the top 5 Watch Mojo's villain list of the CW The Flash series. Joining me is Geek. How are you doing, Geek?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Awesome. All right. So continuing from our last video, we did 10 through 6 of our main villains from the Flash and everything, our ranking. I will leave a link in the iCard section. And so now we're going to go with number 5. So me and you had a little bit of discussion on where this character should go. And we settled on this number. But coming in number 5 is the Thinker. So what are your thoughts on the Thinker, and why did you want him to be, lower on the list?
Okay, so the man had a cool concept, and the man outsmarted Barry a lot in areas, and he also had cool moments. However, it was dragged out, and that's kind of the problem. We've talked about this on your channel. A lot of these villains' issues are they got dragged out, and then they would have missed opportunities in the middle half, and then they'll do something extra sprinkled in.
Yeah, well, I like when it was played by the actor and the character was Clifford DeVoe. I loved it. I thought he had a great look. I love that chair. The actor did a good job. But when he took over the body of other people and everything, that's when I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I was just like, I'm not into this. I don't like this. Why are you doing this? Like, well, I got why they were doing it, but I just didn't like it. And then I just felt like the end product, like his end goal, I was just like, oh, this is it. I thought it'd be way better than that and everything. Or did you like that whole satellite thingy?
It was cool. It's just the issue was it was in the last 2 episodes.
Yeah,
and I feel like they should have really wrapped up that whole building the satellite thing up. I get why they wanted to make it. I guess the funny thing about it, when I think about it, the whole satellite and the white beam going down to Central City, that was kind of like the ending of Arrow season 1. So I get why they wanted to do that, but they really missed the landing on that one if they wanted to do that.
right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it just took too long to get to an ending that was just not that great. It's not that great.
At the same time, I think really this is kind of when the issues of the show arise, is definitely using the one-off villains as lackeys when they do it.
I agree.
We brought up Power Rangers in the last video, so I don't but maybe they should not do that and actually maybe focus on more of the character development for
right.
plan and everything.
No, I agree. It just makes me wonder, like, I don't understand, like they can get characters like King Shark and do it so well, but you can't do the Thinker of all things. Like, I'm like, come on.
I have to bring up King Shark real quick since
Go
we're
ahead.
talking
Yeah,
about him.
love King Shark.
You just brought him up. One thing I love about it, if you know anything about this channel, I used to talk about Descendants, and the funniest thing is you have I forgot the actor's name, but his actor played Beast in Descendants, and he also played a guy turning into a big shark, not voiced by Ron Funches. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Was it
he turned into a furry, and then he turned into a shark. That's pretty funny.
right on? Dan Payne.
Yes, Dan Payne.
Right on.
Another fine man, since we brought up
Yes, very good looking
men earlier.
Yeah, no, I do like King Sharks. I've never seen Descendants, so I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay. So, all right. So for our next ranking, number 4, coming in at number 4, you guys, is Savitar. Do you want to say your thoughts first on Savitar, or do you want me to go first?
You could go first.
Okay, well, I thought Savitar, this is the thing. I liked Savitar. First off, I liked his look. I liked that whole suit thing that he had going on. I loved when he showed up and everything. He just like run across the field of darkness and everything. And then I liked his voice. And I thought it was a good idea, even though it was another speedster for season 3. But the ending just sucked. The payoff was not good enough. And everybody guessed it. And then the showrunner at the time, who I think ended up getting fired, I don't know if it was that one, lied and said everybody was wrong. And I'm like, oh, screw you. They weren't wrong.
I either I remember that happening or I totally missed that.
Of people guessing.
No, not the people guessing, the showrunner or whatever.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, it was Andrew Kressberg.
I
Krensenberg.
wouldn't be shocked if that was that man who should not be named. I totally forgot about that man until you like I didn't forget, but like I
Do,
purposely forgot. Like I purposely intentionally forgot about
yeah,
that
he
man.
got fired for harassment because I think it was the other showrunner guy. I don't remember. It might have been Andrew Kensberg. Ketzenberg. Is that how you say his name?
The DreamWorks guy?
No, no. Um.
No, I know, but I'm joking. They have they have close last names.
Okay, good. Because I was like, did he work for DreamWorks? Because
Nah.
but Katzenberg. It's Cressenberg. Anyways, okay. So he like told everybody they were like wrong, and it was but it ended up being Barry, and I'm all like, no, people weren't wrong. And he tried to like get into semantics and be all like, well, it wasn't the Barry everybody the remnant that everybody said it was a different one. I'm like, get out of here. Everybody was right. It was a remnant. That's all that matters. You're getting into semantics. I'm like, but what did you think about Savitar?
Okay, so I liked the part, and I think for everyone, if you're tuning in live that night, like that was a pretty big night because you had Savitar dragging Barry like a rag doll, beating the crap out of him, and then you had a night about the DCEU. It was pretty great, even though that does not age well. The uh, long whatever, like the video didn't age well, but it's still pretty hype. Uh, but you had like pretty dope moments like that, and then the man got dragged out for so long.
Right on. I agree. Yeah, no,
When it came down to the future episode where Barry goes in time and meets his emo version of himself,
right.
and I was like, I like this idea. And then from there, they kept dragging things out more with that man. And then I was like, I'll bet you it's emo, edgy, evil, attractive Barry, because we all like our edgy, evil, attractive Barry Allens up in this house. But then they did it in the last minute, and then I was like, man, wish we saw more of Evil Barry. That would have been cool. But then they wasted it in like the last 3 episodes.
Yeah, they did.
I
Yeah.
was pretty disappointed about that. So I was like, man, hope the next season's good.
Right. I think at that point they started doing like the whole where because with the first 2 seasons I felt that the build up to the villains was great and then the payoff was really good, but I
Well,
think that Savitar,
that was back in the earlier seasons. Like
right,
those were like seasons 2, and then
yeah, but I think that's
Saboteur was 3, right?
yeah, he was season 3, so I for me I think that
Yeah,
season 3,
because the thing about that, and it kind of shows in the next ranking going up, um, but from like season 1 was season 1,
right,
season 2, they had to do something similar but jazz it up a bit. Season 3 was around the point where the formula of waiting till the last 3 episodes of who's the villain was starting to run pretty dry by that point, even though it was like 3 seasons in. And
yeah,
it kind of
and
showed that that formula does not hold up as well as it did the first 2 times.
yeah, especially since it was another speedster and you're trying to guess the identity and it's like and like you said it worked for the first 2 seasons, but and it probably, like you said before, it probably would have worked if they had done it sooner, but they just waited
Yeah.
so long. So yeah.
And at the same time, like Savitar was like very undeveloped as a character.
For sure. I agree with that 100%.
I feel like if they would have developed him more, he would have probably been one of like the best villains they had on the show.
Yeah, like show a flashback because he was all like, Iris died. And it's like, well, why don't you show, don't tell. Okay. Because I think that would have gone a long ways to actually see stuff like that.
And they could have had like a whole, like maybe like 2-3 part episode about that instead of having some whack villain that's never going to return again. And if they
Yeah.
do, people aren't really going to care and go, I don't remember them, but okay, I guess they're back. Good for them.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. No, for sure. For sure. All right. So we are down to our top three. Woo woo. All right. Coming in at number 3 is Blood Work. I don't know how you feel about Blood Work. I kind of liked Blood Work. I mean, he kind of got a little annoying sometimes with this whole I'm trying to cure death and everything. But I personally liked seeing, he had a beginning, a middle, and an end. And I liked seeing that. And then you saw, because you saw his origin, and then at the end, you saw him turn into that weird skull, Akira looking thing.
Yeah.
So, but I did like him, and I like that actor that played him.
Here's the thing. The reason why this character worked so well for me is because they actually committed to going, yeah, I'm a pretty evil dude. Deal with it.
Right.
And like they committed all the way through, and the actor did a really great job.
He did.
Also, at the same time, this was at the point of the show where like Barry was gonna die and stuff, so they really had to commit to like a good villain at the same time commit to Barry quote unquote dying at the same time. So I think because of those two reasons, I think that's why they took as many measures to make that character interesting. And I wish they would have done that before and even earlier with a lot of these villains, because this is like a pretty good job, even though there's a few slip ups, but there's not too many.
Right on. Yeah, no, I agree. Okay. So moving on to our top 2. Now, me and you didn't have like a brawl about this, but we did have a discussion about who should be in our top. Who should be our number 1 and who should be our number 2. But we finally eventually settled on for number 2 is the Reverse Flash. Now, I wanted him have him number 1 because he's just like a classic. He's his nemesis.
Yeah, I mean, he's literally like Barry's like number 1,
right?
number 1 bad guy.
But ultimately, our number 1, which we'll talk about. Yeah, he's and he for many things. The thing I like about the Reverse Flash is that first season, you're just like, oh, who is the Reverse Flash? Because if you read comic books, you know who it is. But the way that they did the face thing, like Kavanaugh, who played him, you didn't expect him to be it because that's not his name. Like his name isn't what was the professor?
Dr. Harrison Wells.
Yeah, he wasn't Wells from the comic books. He was Eobard Thawne, and the whole time you're just like, oh, this is so crazy.
And this was good for my grandparents because I got them into the Flash and they had no clue the whole time. At the same time, I got them in during when they were rerunning the show during the summer, and I watched the whole show already. So it was pretty funny watching the reaction as time went on. But no, I felt like season 1 wise, and I feel like everyone will point to season 1. People are a lot more critical about it now, but I've kind of always said this: the CW be the CW. There's going to be flaws anywhere, but Reverse Flash was like pretty good. Like
right,
in like Flash season 1 as a whole, just really worked around the Eobard and Reverse Flash thing in those early days, and that's just mostly because everything was just so fresh. It wasn't really anything we've seen before, which is a good thing.
right.
and at the same time, the formula. I mean, the formula was from Arrow of here's a random one-off villain. At the same time, Flash threw in the Rogues Gallery for a bit, and then on top of that, you had the Reverse Flash stuff. So it was taking from what worked before, and of course, it's from the same people who worked on Arrow. Uh, but it just like it just all good ingredients to make the character work in the first season.
Right on. I agree. I will have to say though, I liked it better when Matt Letcher, I think that's how you say his name. I liked it better when he played Eobard Thawne more than
The
Tom
thing
Cavanaugh.
about the thing about that is like Eobard as Wells only works really for narrative wise,
Right.
like the Hartley Rathaway storyline. Hartley had no clue that man, which I feel like they should have told Hartley everything, but they never did that. Uh, but like you would have never expected um, that character to turn on a character like Hartley, essentially saying, "Hey, no, I'll kick you out of here." Essentially, I need to let the Flash become the Flash and stuff. And
Right.
then on top of that, you got Grodd and um, a whole bunch of other stuff I can't really think right now.
Right on. It's cool. It's cool.
He killed the guy who played Hercules, so that was the thing.
Oh, right on. Right on. I yeah, no, and then I also because they keep putting Tom Cavanaugh in this role,
And
and I'm all like,
it just doesn't work because
yeah,
it's not in that season one Dr. Wells, you don't know who I am bubble.
yeah, exactly.
And the other guy works as the Reverse Flash just because of the acting gravitas that he brings. Because hey, I'm evil, twirly
Right.
mustache, even though he doesn't have a mustache.
Right. Yeah. And I think that their excuse of like, oh, I just like this face is so stupid. I'm all like, stop that. Stop it. It's so dumb. I hate that. But
I kind of blame Legends of Tomorrow and how they handle that character.
right
I
on.
think that's probably why the actor returns. I don't know. That's just me kind of spitballing things.
Gotcha. Right on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No. Okay, you guys. So if you didn't guess it, you're crazy. But our number
Our number
one,
one
yes.
is Pied Piper. Yes, very shocking. Gay icon, had to put him number one. Barry Allen and Wally West, even though Wally West never met this man on the CW, but villain turned bestie, gay icon, rat boy, Hartley Rathaway, best villain. All right, good night, every pony.
That's funny. He surprised me with that one. I wasn't expecting that you to say that. That was good. That was good. But it's actually Zoom.
Yes.
um, I liked this villain a lot. I think that, they did the whole trying to figure out his identity thing.
Yeah, they did the whole Eobard thing, which while the same, it was interesting. I don't know that much about uh Zoom or Hunter Zolomon as a character. I know he's the second Reverse Flash. But they went in a different direction just so in that way they didn't have two Reverse Flash going on.
Right.
Uh but I definitely like how more manipulative he was. Like
Absolutely.
that man took over Caitlyn's emotions. Like that man was like, ooh, that was pretty spicy, pretty iconic.
Yeah, and I loved
Also,
it.
him lying about being Hunter's all or not Hunter, Jay Garrick. That
Right.
was pretty cool. I thought honestly, if he was Jay Garrick, I would have no complaints.
Right. Yeah. And I love that when he was in the suit, he was voiced by Tony Todd.
Yeah, that
Um,
was pretty cool.
yeah, it was so great because he had like this great voice, and Tony Todd, his voice is iconic because he's Candyman. But it was and his face was creepy. Like don't get me
Yeah,
wrong, the Reverse
like
Flash.
the oh yeah the we have to get into that, but the suit It's very nice to look at,
Right.
especially with
Yeah.
the purple lightning,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like in
purple
season
bluish lightning.
Right on, right on. Yeah, like in season one, when you saw the reverse flash and he had the little facey thing or whatever. I mean, that was cool, but it wasn't creepy. Like Zoom was very creepy. He had the like almost sewn together mouth, like it was melding together, kind of like in the Matrix when he when they're
It's kind of it kind of reminded me of a skull, and that was pretty
yeah.
good foreshadowing for later on when he became a time wraith.
Yes, yeah. And then his hands were kind of like pointed, like they were almost claws instead of
Yeah,
hands. I thought they did a really good job with that. And and then when you get the big reveal that he's and plus I liked the going back and forth from Earth 1 to Earth
one in Earth
2.
two. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I just feel like there was a lot of depth to Zoom. I just felt like, he had a lot of more depth compared to a lot of the other characters, and it makes me sad that they can't go back to that, and I don't know why. Like I don't know what's the problem with that, but
they cannot find a way for like a character to like really get into Barry's head and mess him up. Like Zoom slash Hunter did a really good job of that, and like except for Bloodwork, that's another character that could easily do it and somewhat Savitar, but not 110%. Only like those two at best can really get into Barry's head pretty well.
right on.
But Zoom messed Barry up because at this point, Barry, even though with the reverse flash and Ronnie sacrificing himself, that man was still like pretty sunshine and rainbows. Like that man completely removed Batman out of him. And essentially, you had a whole arc of Barry getting his dad out of jail. We get him out of jail. And then Zoom goes, well, that ain't Barry's mom, and she's out of the picture. I'm going to kill his dad.
Right.
And then he actually does it. And then Barry does Flashpoint and then completely changed the show forever, and the quality completely dipped.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
I still tune in, but it's
Yeah.
kind of funny that Zoom was responsible for that.
Right on. Right on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
That's the greatest villain to do that, to like manage to go out with a huge bang like that.
Right. All right, you guys, that is our 5-1 of our ranking with a little bit of an honorable mention in there. But if you guys want to see 10 through 6, you guys can head over to my channel. It'll be in the iCard section and in the description down below. And we will hopefully be doing more of these. If you guys like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. Speed Force, you won't mind.
I wouldn't mind. What did you think of our list? Let us know in the comments down below. To watch more Watch Mojo, click the icon screen below, insert Grace Randolph music.